almost by default. And I think he's also level 20, so that's another big one. Then you have the Night King himself, Victor Gyökeres. He's won a ton for the gallery. I ended up actually selling him at the end of last European season, so this isn't the one that's like won a ton for me. But I mean, by far the best challenger forward on the platform. So to me, if you're playing challenger, you almost have to have one of them. He hasn't been as great since Emery left, but um, for sure one that he's got a spot in the gallery forever, pretty much based off of what he's won for me. I mean, he's definitely already returned for me what I paid for him. And then we have Dennis Bouanga. I'm kind of an LAFC fan too, but mainly only because I bought Bouanga, like the likes of Bouanga and Bogusz, and I want to say Hollingshead also helped me win a podium, but I had those guys, so I support him for Sorare, so I kind of support him for real life too. But Bouanga is a beast. Hopefully he doesn't leave for Rennes, but um, I know he's won me a podium, so he gets a spot in the Hall of Fame too. We'll probably end up, hopefully by the end of this European season, having a new member or two of the Hall of Fame, just with other podiums that I've won. But we'll see. So let's kind of dive into my cards. I can't. These are three boxes. I literally can't get into them right now. I don't know why. I know other people have had problems too. But let's just kind of sort by goalie. Let's go down to tournament. So start with Bundesliga because I play Bundesliga. I try to line up one or two in-season teams along with Classic. So you have Neuer for the Bayern stack, Ulreich just a collection piece. Then you have Zetterer, who I think is, I know he's gotten links to like City in the past. I think he's a really good keeper. It's just a matter of sometimes, when Bremen are going against the big boys, it's tough to line them up. I'm actually looking to sell my Baumann to move into an in-season Zetterer or an in-season Neuer. Just for the top-end classic keepers, I do like to have a dupe for in-season, just so, like, if Bayern's, for example, playing Hoffenheim this week, I would rather have two Neuers that I can line up and kind of go all in on one week as opposed to kind of having, like, coverage for each individual team. Because then if I end up having to use the Neuer in season, then I don't really have one for Classic to put with my Bayern stack, if that makes sense. So I just rather double up on good keepers as opposed to having like one of everybody. And I'm finding that out through this whole in-season process that we're going on this year. Brought in Trap. I kind of wish I didn't. It was kind of an impulse buy, which I know we've all done, but it is what it is. So we'll see what he can earn back for the gallery. Adebolu, one of the best U23 keepers in Champ. It helps to have a guy who serves the purpose of being like Bundesliga or Prem as well as U23. So can't really go wrong with that one. And then Zentner, he's an incredible shot stopper. I mean, mines are always going to face a ton of shots, so I really like him. Let's go to defenders. We'll sort this by highest average too. So you have Upa and Kim. So some of these prices are going to hurt, but I joined like early. I think I joined in January of 2023. So a lot of like these old classic cards, like that's what prices used to be. So it's just a matter of you gotta win back, right? I don't play it for the money aspect. I play it for the enjoyment aspect. Um, so we got Upa Meccano and Kim for the Bayern stacks. Starting the doubling up method, so I'm doubling up on Mittelstadt. Granted, he's out this week, thanks, but he's had a really good season for Stuttgart. Brought in Nathaniel Brown. He's just a little bit of a cheaper option, like him and Ben Sabaini. I'm trying to more go with one or two smashers in season, and then just kind of a lot of budget options to rotate around them. Budget meaning like around that under $80 USD mark. Like that's really where I'm trying to be. Outside of like maybe a smasher. So like I have Mittelstadt, and then you'll see for mids and forwards who I have. But that's kind of how these two ended up in the gallery. Grimaldo, I do have a Leverkusen stack. Granted, he doesn't. His bonus, he just has 1%. I don't have the last season Leverkusen, so we'll get to that when I get the forward. Guerrero for the Bayern stack hasn't done too much. Hincapié has actually been really good recently. I just one of those. It's just a really good patch of form to me, so I feel like I don't try to wedge him in a lineup as much as I should. But he had another really good game today. I think he scored an 84. We won Orban as a high, either a high tier two or a low tier one, which was I was pretty disappointed by because he doesn't score too well. But he provides in season depth nonetheless. Raum fits into a 1% Leipzig that I have, and then Veljkovic just fits into a one, going to be 2% Bremen stack with Zetterer, and then Duke, who you'll see it forward. Then for midfielders, we have Musiala. So I'll kind of spoil forward. I won an in-season Kane, so I went out and got a Musiala to pair with him. And again, we're using the double up strategy on classic and in-season. So Musiala also fits a 3% Bayern stack. We have Kimmich, who fits a 3% Bayern stack, who I think I just recently, not recently, but just this season I got him. He's been pretty good. Elise, obviously, is probably been one of the best players in my gallery recently. I haven't played and won with him as much as I should have, just because I'm biased to big flow here. So, and especially it's just so hard to create lineups where admittedly you have all this quality. And sometimes I wish I only had an Elise or like I only had a Kimmich because then it makes the choices a lot easier. And you don't have to decide between all these guys who are smashers, and when they have good matchups, it's hard to only choose two of basically these four. Um, but it just is what it is, right? So you gotta. That's part of being a good manager is figuring out who of these guys in the given matchup is going to smash. Um, so you have Verts, who I have. You'll see in forward, I have a forward Verts. So I just wanted to double up. Like I said, he's my favorite player outside of Arsenal. So just decided to bring in another one as a midfielder. Plus, it kind of helps for U23, and I felt like I wanted another smasher Bundesliga mid. Palacios, who's been really good when he starts, just a matter of kind of picking out when he starts, and he fits at 3% Bayern stack. Amiri, again, doubling up. Um, I think he's on a red card suspension the past two games, so hopefully he'll be up. Let's see who they play at the weekend. They play. They're at Union, so hopefully I'll be able to run him in season. Admittedly, it's been big not being able to have him. Um, then down here, just kind of a lot of collection fodder. Um, Elise, I do have 3% on. Um, Admittedly, I probably should have stopped at two, but I get kind of overboard with the collections and getting them the extra XP. Just gotta collect cards in real life, so I enjoy collections. But a lot of this down here is just fodder. Um, Goretzka might play a little bit. Leimer might find his way into a special. Um, Andrich might find his way into a special. Gross has been, after starting really well for Dortmund, he's been horrible. So we'll move on to forwards. There it is. Probably my favorite Bundesliga card, and outside of the Celebration Soccer, probably my favorite card that I own. Um, the Verts forward, he's won so much for me. Always tends to find his way into my priority lineup. I just brought in the Dukes for this game week, and then the middle shot news came out, and I kind of had to rejiggle my lineups, and I wish I didn't bring him in, but he was going to come in eventually. I just overpaid a little bit for him. Plus, he fits into a collection that will eventually be 2%. Here's the Harry Kane that we won, so feels for all this money that I've been losing on in season. Losing meaning I chop and change so much that um, I lose some money here and there on whether it be fees or whether it be money that I lost between the purchase and the sale that I didn't earn back through rewards. So it's nice to kind of know that I have this that I'll sell at the end of the year and hopefully recoup a lot of that loss. We got the celebration cane as well for the Bayern stack. Like I said, I'm a sucker for these celebrations, away kits, you name it. I can't remember exactly what I paid. I know I paid a little bit of a premium for it. And again, it's something that I purchased over a year ago, so I'm definitely down on the price. But best forward in the Bundesliga, probably still one of the best forwards on SO5 in general. So really excited to own that one. And you have Ekatike, who hopefully will still be as good when Marmoush leaves, but we'll see. He fits in a 1% PSG stack that I believe has, yeah, has Mbappe, but not Messi. Plus he's U23. I end up using him a lot more in U23, actually. Then you have Coman, Kramaric, who's been really bad this year. Mueller, who's just kind of collection fodder. Demirovic, who's been pretty brutal since I brought him in. I don't think he was a decisive since I brought him in. And then Philip was just a essence craft. So and that does it for the Bundesliga. Let's go to goalie, and then we'll do. Oh, sorry. We'll do the Prem, and then maybe we'll do Challenger. So first we have Pickford, who's been in a crazy run of form lately. I know they just sacked Aish and brought in David Moyes, so it'll be interesting to see if they maintain that defensive shape or if they play a little bit more open and Pickford probably concede some more goals. But again, there's a celebration edition. Got him up to 1%. I think I only needed one more card given that he gives the extra score for being celebration. Doubling up on Raya's. I have to. I'm an Arsenal supporter. This one's at 19%. Let's see how close he is. Is he pretty close to being level 20? He's got about 1,800 more XP to go. Just recently brought in Alisson, so to get the Liverpool collection up to 3%, probably a little bit too late on that, but it is what it is. I think he'll end up staying another year. You have Flecken in season, probably the best true shot stopper in the Prem. So really glad to have that one. Bart, again, one of the better U23s. I know Bayern have been sniffing around him. Just Brighton play so open that it's kind of tough for him to keep clean sheets, but he does rack up a ton of AA. And then brought Ramsdale in to almost complete the Arsenal 23-24 collection. I still have to get Declan Rice, but always nice to have a keeper on 5%, so can't really complain with that one. Then we have a load of defenders. So first we got Gab Mag, actually one of the better scoring defenders in the Prem, ironically. Very decisive, capable, especially off corners. And again, he's got that 5% on him. So I wish I was training him a little bit more in the offseason. He's only level 12, and I've had him for 9 months. But kind of is what it is. They got Trent, who's probably Madrid bound next year. He's been super feast or famine this year. It is a bit maddening playing him because you're pretty much looking at like a 90 or a 35. But again, that peakiness is kind of what you need to win these classic competitions. Lewis Hall for in season, he's been really, really good. I think I picked him up for about um, 70 dollars USD. So he's been a great servant for the club. I actually just picked up Martinez because he fits into this Ajax collection where I have a couple more players, and he won the priority lineup this week. So we'll see if a $10 player ends up getting me a podium. Then you got Big Dean here. I'm not even going to try the last name. If I had to, I'd say Heisen maybe. But again, in season U23, he looks like a stud. So and for only $55 for an in season, you can't really complain about that, especially when you see scores like that. I mean, consistency in for in season comps is definitely incredibly valuable. Simicast's just collection fodder. When he starts, he's great. He just doesn't start very often. Picking up Saliba for $40 seems like a pretty good grab. I hope he's not Madrid bound, but he might be Madrid bound. Um, on the ground, one of the best center backs in the world. Plus, he fits into the 5% Arsenal collection. Is kind of peaky, but not very peaky. I mean, he's usually around that like 50 to 65 range. 65 being a really solid game, but he is capable of a peak every now and then. just through a decisive. Very rarely does he hit like 80 through AA, if ever. Eight Nuri, just a bit of depth for in season, is decisive capable, but they don't keep clean sheets. Ake's healthy and in a decent little run of form now, so hopefully he becomes playable. Jedi Robinson here. I'm U.S. men's national team supporter, of course. Plus, got the special edition. So $90 for him. That's a really good in-season piece to have. So I feel like I have three really good in-season defenders to work off of here, and then Ait Nouri's depth. So the goal is to run three in-season lineups, but if I can only get two out, I mean that's some pretty good quality there. Um, Nico's been very good recently. Timber, wholly overpaid, but he's looked really good recently. Against like the relegation sides, he is really decisive, capable, racks up a ton of AA. So, but outside of those kind of matchups, tough to play him. Ben White's pretty good when he's healthy, but he's been hurt all year. Same with Stones. Munoz is capable of decisive every now and then. Van Hecke's been really disappointing this year. Akanji's capable against those lower end sides where he can rack up passes. Zinchenko, I know is, I mean, obviously they just fit into the Arsenal stack, but I know he's rumored to Bayern. Kivior is just not Prem level, so it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening with his career. Rorslav is just collection fodder. Trying to get rid of my in-season Guardiola here that I'm going to take a big hit on, but he um, won me a couple cash spots while I had him, so I just don't really need that expensive of a defender where I have these guys who can output similar scores who are collectively worth even less than what he's worth now. Um, then I got a 3% City stack, so he figures into that. Same with Rico Lewis. Of course, I bought him, and then all of a sudden he just stopped forgetting, or he forgot how to play football. But it is what it is. I mean, he's one of the Pep speaks so highly of him. He's one of the um, better young prospects that they have. So I'm sure he'll find his way eventually. Um, Morato fits into a 3% Benfica stack. He fits into the Grimaldo Benfica collection. Then all these guys here are just kind of collection fodder. Although Tomiyasu, if he can stay healthy, if he gets a move, could be decent. We'll finish up mids and forward here, and then we'll save MLS, we'll save Challenger, and we'll save U23 for the next video. I know this one's running a bit longer than I anticipated. Just brought in Bruno today. Definitely overpaid for him. I was just looking at Palmer out of my gallery. It just felt wrong as an Arsenal fan having him in there. So I overpaid for Bruno, but I don't mind overpaying for classic cards that I know I'm going to keep. They're kind of they're pillars of the gallery. So we'll see how he does. He got the armband this week against Southampton, so hopefully he brings me 100. Fingers crossed. We got Saka Celebration. I've already went over that one. Anderson, since I bought him, is kind of flatlined with no peak, so maybe we'll look to ship him off. Then we got Phil Foden. Again, fits into that 3% City stack, and he's finding a really good vein of form here recently, so he'll probably move his way up the priority in terms of lineups. And then you have Havertz. Has been horrible. I really don't want to talk about him. It's just this guy is what it is. We won McAllister, I think 2 weeks ago. So that's a really nice hit. I definitely needed. I won him before I bought Bruno G, but I definitely needed another Prem mid in season that had that quality. So feel really good about that one. Odegaard, probably a club legend just in terms of what he won for me last year, but this year he's been in a really poor vein of form. Brought in Bruno for this deadline, so hopefully my D2 in season gets promoted to D1. Then we have Bruno Classic, so again, kind of double dipping there. Started season off slow, but he's been very, very, very good as of recent, as has the whole Newcastle stack. So that's pretty good. Partey, really just part of the stack. Murphy was actually a really good buy for $20, and he's kind of fit randomly into some lineups. He's just a guy that you wouldn't really like put in your first priority, but he's a really good second lineup guy. So I know I have a lineup right now that's projected second on L15s where Murphy's the mid. So hopefully he can put in a shift for me. Eze for $20, he fits into the Palace stack. Plus Eze for $20, like just too much quality there to be that cheap. Eventually he'll earn me that back through one way or another. Soboslai has been really disappointing since I brought him in. Although he's great for international windows, still U23, can definitely still peak. Um, but I do love the away kit version, so that's a plus. Nunez was really just kind of collection fodder. He might have won me something. I think I bought this when he was in that little run of starting games towards the beginning of this year with City. So $20 probably an overpay, but he still gets time. And if he ever moved away from City, he's probably a nailed starter wherever he goes. Harry Wilson bought him for international weeks, and I think he just ended up winning me a reward in a classic comp. So I paid a couple bucks for him. He's already paid off. ESR fits into the collection, but again, just when I bought him, definitely an overpay. Hughes is collection fodder. Almiron is probably, knock on wood, going to move to Charlotte in the MLS, and I have an MLS gallery. So he was fantastic with Atlanta United. So if he moves back, he'll be one of the better midfielders. Then you got Jorginho and March, who are just collection fodder. Crafted Tyler J. Dibbling, I'm just going to keep him because he has such high pedigree. I know people speak super highly of him, and if he ends up staying next year in the champ, hopefully he'll smash. So that's a good challenger U23 piece to have. And if he gets a move, hopefully he gets more time on a better team. Then Phillips and Bob are both kind of collection pieces. Bob, I believe, broke his arm or his leg before the season started. He had a great preseason, fantastic U23 piece. When he comes back and he's healthy, he's going to be great. And obviously, we all know Rodrigo. I mean, when he comes back, he won the Ballon d'Or. He was the best scoring player on SO5. So there is admittedly a lot of quality down here where I'm like, I could really kind of use that, especially when Foden was slipping. Odegaard is in bad form. Havertz has been shite. Saka's obviously hurt. That one's huge. And Bruno G wasn't firing. So all of a sudden I looked around and I said, I don't have any prem midfielders, but now we're starting to get into a place where I feel really comfortable. And then here you got Salah. Hopefully he doesn't go Saudi at the end of the year, but kind of is what it is. I've probably yielded about half of that back through him. I wish it was more, but I just haven't had a great Prem season outside of a couple lineups here and there, so probably yielded about half that back. But again, he fits in the collection, so if he goes to a covered league, I'll definitely keep him. Or if he stays at Liverpool, that's the most ideal. Brendan Isak, part of a 2% Newcastle stack. He's been fantastic. It's just a matter of staying healthy for him. Don't know how much he'll play this week, so that'll be interesting. Doubling up on the Mbermos, a talisman for Brentford. For forwards, I try to focus on guys that everything goes through, so everything definitely goes through him for Brentford. And yeah, he's been a really good servant to the gallery thus far. You got the forward Saka, who I'll keep. He's actually the 2 of 100, so he was the first one ever auctioned as a forward. Again, something that doesn't really mean a lot to anybody else, but I think it's cool, so I was willing to pay that premium for it. Anthony Gordon again fits in the Newcastle stack. Hasn't been like 190 capable, but dude, I mean you'll take 72 with a 9% boost all day long. That'll put you right towards the top of the leaderboards. And you got Pedro here, fits into 2% Brighton. Just really tough to predict when he's going to be in there, so I don't think I've won a ton with him, but I had a Watford version that helped me podium last year, so again, one of those guys who's pretty much kind of paid for himself. Doku needs to find his way into that City squad or leave for that to really become profitable. Jota is more of like a bench piece, collection piece, but it's one of those that if I need like that last lineup I'm looking to fill a forward spot, then I can definitely throw him in there and feel capable about him coming in off the bench and bagging a goal like he did today. Vardy is just really there for in-season forward depth, and just pretty cool that I pulled the special edition. Then unfortunately, look at all these low L15s for the Arsenal guys. They're pretty much all just collection fodder at this point, especially Gabby towards ACL, so I don't know what'll happen there. Nketiah hasn't really kicked on at Palace. Martinelli's been shocking. Trossard's been shocking, and Nelson I know is out for Fulham. Um, so we'll see what happens there. But might be looking to bring in one more Prem forward. Probably makes the most sense to save up and um, end up getting Holland just because he fits a City stack. At this point, I'm not really looking to get like a Palmer forward. I don't really want Palmer. It just feels wrong. I try not to buy Spurs or Chelsea players as an Arsenal fan. I know that's not the most optimal way to play it, but it's a way that is the most fun for me. I just don't want to have to root for those guys. A Gakpo definitely makes sense. I know Gakpo's on the short list, him along with Holland, but I think those two are mainly the ones that were eyeing up. So that being said, guys, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely the first one, so just bear with me. There's the join, by the way. So I joined in February of 23, back when prices were a lot different. So like I said, bear with me, guys. I know it's the first one, so it might seem a little choppy here and there, but stick with me and we'll get through it. I got a ton of ideas for stuff. I spend so much time on SO5. I enjoy it a ton. So hopefully more content coming out in the future. We're gonna try to upload maybe every other day, maybe every day if I'm feeling really crazy towards the start and I have a lot of motivation. But next video I'll probably dive into more Challenger, MLS, and La Liga and things like that. So maybe we'll do Challenger and MLS next video because with the news today, that makes a lot of sense to do those two as a pair. So appreciate you guys. Everyone have a good rest of your evening, day, afternoon, night, whatever it is when you guys are watching. And good luck this game week and the upcoming game week. Thanks, guys.